What's up, y'all? Today we're going to go ahead and extend our GitHub Unit 1.3 learning and talk a little bit about what our weekly assignment is. So for our weekly assignment, all we're going to do is create a pull request so that way we can add to this repository a markdown file that has a little bit more information about who we are and a few questions about the syllabus. So if you read the README on this repository, you'll see a little more information as well as a guide to markdown files if you're not sure what they are. In order to find this repository, all you're going to do is go to github.com/ all the organization name, so tools trade VA SP1 / and then the repository name, so in this case S21-introductions. And as I mentioned towards the end of the last video, I talked about forking, and forking was creating your own version, your own copy of code from someone else. So the way we're going to do that is GitHub has this great handy dandy button in the top right corner said fork. By the time you do this, you'll see a couple more photos or a couple more numbers listed as more students fork the repository, but for me right now it's at 0. So I'm going to go ahead and fork. And I have a couple organizations, but I'm going to go ahead and click my personal account and have that pop up. This is going to take a couple of seconds. As you start working with larger and larger code bases, this will be way longer, but we're going to keep it pretty simple right now. So now something I want to point out, we have this gray bar right in like the top middle. It says this branch is even with tools trade VA SP1 main. This is basically saying that this person or this organization, whoever owns the repo, tools trade VA SP1, their branch main, their main branch is the same as ours. We have not done anything different. They haven't done anything different on their side. We haven't done any different on our side. Keep in mind that on the right, this says pull request right here. That is going to be useful later. So now we have this repository and it's online, it's on github.com, but we don't have it on our own laptops. So we're going to go to GitHub Desktop, correct. So now that we're here, we're gonna go ahead and open this repository and if you're like me right now on your current repository, it's your first repo. So we're going to go ahead and add. I'm going to clone a repository, and then I'm going to look up S21 introductions. I'm going to go ahead and just clone. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and say for my own purposes, just so we can kind of learn a little bit more on how to contribute to the parent project just through github.com instead of just GitHub Desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll see that we're in the right current repository. I'm going to go ahead and just open this in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we're looking at VS Code. We look on the left-hand side, we see the readme.markdown. This is perfect, this is exactly what we want, but instead what we're going to go ahead and do is up here, we're going to add a new file. So if you hover over the folder's name, S21 introductions, you should see this little bar pop up that has like a page with a plus icon, folder, etc., etc. We're going to go ahead and click that page with the plus and open a new file. I'm going to name this my student ID. So I'm from UVA, so my student ID is my initials and then a number and some extra letters. And then .md. This is a markdown file. I'm going to go ahead and go to this README just to kind of keep it simple. I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste. This doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but here are 3 questions I need to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and while you're doing this, you're going to actually answer these questions, but just because I'm demoing this, I'm going to type answer. As for my name is Mara Hart. This will help us make sure we're looking at the right student we're grading, and then we're also going to put down my year. I'm going to say class of 2021, and I'm in CS. And then what am I most excited for? Meeting everyone. There you go, fix that little typo. And so now, as always, once we make changes, I actually have my VS Code set on autosave. If you want to do that, all you have to do is go to the top bar and turn on autosave. I highly recommend it if you're like me and forget. So now if you go into GitHub Desktop, you'll see that all of that is already populated and you'll see that you had a new file added. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go into that sidebar. I'm going to make sure my markdown file is added. So make sure that little box is checked. And now that it's checked, I like this default commit message, create mlh4xc.md. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it how it is. And now I'm going to go ahead and commit it to main. So now that we've committed to main, remember we have this handy dandy push button right here, and all we want to do is push it to github.com. So I'm going to go ahead and push it. You'll see it load up at the top. And now let's go ahead and check back on GitHub. Let's see what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And now you'll see my new file there. You'll also see that this branch is one commit ahead of tools trade va sp1 main. At this point, we're going to go ahead and click this pull request button that I mentioned earlier. We're going to go ahead and click it, and we'll see more about all the differences between our code. So because we created a whole new file, you'll see that we have one change final with how many additions and 0 deletions. And so if it all looks good to you, we're going to go ahead and just create a pull request. So now that we've gone ahead and created a pull request, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at create mlh4xc.md, and you can leave a comment if you'd like us to read your comment, but it's not required. But do make sure that you leave allow edit by maintainers on by default, as that is how we're going to be able to make sure that everything's going well and we can combine it all together. Then we're going to go ahead and create a pull request. Okay, so now that I've created a pull request, you'll see that I'm on this new page. I'm actually back on the tools trade va repo right here. And so now that I'm back here, if you go into pull request, you'll see how many pull requests are open. 1 so far, because it's just me. This number right here is how many pull requests there have been. I was testing this out a couple times, so I've done 2 so far. And so this is my 3rd pull request. And you're not going to see this part, you're not going to see this merge, all this stuff down here. I only see it because I am an owner of this class organization. But as long as everything looks good, you can click around. This is it. You've completed the whole assignment as long as you've answered everything in the markdown. Then what I want you guys to do, or want you all to do, is go ahead and copy this link up here. This link up here that has, the github.com / the organization name / the repo name / poll / your number is going to be what you're going to go ahead and turn in. Once you have it turned in, we'll know what your GitHub is, so we can go ahead and add it to the class organization. We'll check to make sure that you're able to make a pull request, and then we'll also be able to give you your grade for this section for 1.3. Other than that is easy peasy, but if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to come to office hours. We're super excited to, get to know everyone, and earlier is better, but we will be happy to see y'all, even if it is towards the end. Okay, hopefully we get to see you guys soon, and hope you enjoy this week and next. Bye, y'all.